Welcome everyone to another live stream. Some laptop news, fall or back to school or back to home schooling update, IT professional and Linux edition here. And yeah, you might have seen them on other news sites, but nonetheless, not everyone might follow each and every news site, and I wanted to present you some latest developments. So most newsworthy probably from our side here. Lenovo ThinkPad, usually found here pretty usable, previous videos. Feather White X1 Nano, so this is entirely somewhat new for all the ThinkPad fans playing along at home. Lightest ThinkPad ever, they write here, with some one whatever. And so what is newsworthy, the most newsworthy, except yes, super ultra thin and compact and stuff, which some people here love. Personally not the super greatest fan, could be a little bit bigger even for multiple reasons, not only ports and because it only has I think 2 USB-C or something. But the biggest breaking news, 16:10 display, exactly what in all the videos I made. Here other ThinkPads, a huge chin. So what I always said, please make this here screen real estate, programmers, IT professionals, even if you just do Excel or Word or whatnot, with Word with all the ribbon interface or whatever. If you are one of those unlucky people still using Windows. But even for us on Linux, screen real estate, screen real estate, screen real estate, and certainly no good reason to waste so much space. Exactly what I called out for years. I also wonder, the companies always present themselves like the latest and greatest, most innovative and the best, creme de la creme, and then such huge chins. I would wish they would do this with all models. I'm somewhat tempted to like just get this for me personally. However, I found, so for me, this ultra thin and lightweight is not the biggest feature. For me, it's an Ethernet port. Yes, call me old-fashioned, whatever, but Ethernet port. And then I found the more light and thin and lightweight and the more fragile. And if I sit somewhere like on an armchair at home and stuff and so on, I found like on my lap, how you would use a laptop, the more small and lightweight, the more fragile and even the worst or the less optimal typing experience. So one step forward and one step back, because yeah, unless you're a super huge fan of thin and lightweight. But anyway, of course, it's not the cheapest. I think it starts like 1,500. Has do they have here USD or at least I think I saw this somewhere. Yeah, super, yeah, thin and stuff, 900 something. But if you need thin and lightweight, probably from my experience better than an Apple iPad, because regular software, Linux, and certainly typing experience, right, and so forth. There's also this X1 Fold, which yeah, YOLO, whatever, certainly. Yeah, I need a keyboard, and how soon the screen breaks and so on. I'm slightly, what is the footnote? I will certainly check this. Also, I shout out this also, by the way, the Fold 2500. It's like, yeah, thank you very much. I'd rather have something that doesn't break as fast and is nicely usable. Based on Lenovo internal research, of all ThinkPad models manufactured worldwide by either since 1992. Okay, fair enough. That was this one. But yeah, I also make the summary for you if you want to buy something soon. And it certainly takes some weeks. We are certainly not the first big YouTube influencer yet who gets this to test. But anyway, I will, as a note, also actually I had this open. I personally will probably rather get something like this, because so they changed the model SKU naming a little bit. They now have X13 and stuff, which certainly also is not too bad. Well, makes some sort of sense. And so yeah, they now have X13 Intel and X13 AMD. Previously they had X300, was it X? Anyway, they had this 5 SKUs here. 5 in latest years were AMD, and non-5 like X390 was Intel and X395 was AMD. something of that sort. So now they have, with AMD being as competitive as they are now, they unified this now, which certainly I hope they also, in previous years we had the issue that the AMD models usually didn't hit all display SKUs, like at least, also yeah, it was totally convoluted, like in some countries they had, in some countries they hadn't, and even like in Germany and Netherlands, like they had different models in Netherlands and in Germany, and it's like, yeah, this is hilarious. It felt somewhat like handicapping AMD SKUs a little bit. I hope they stop this, especially as competitive as AMD is. One thing that, however, I heard AMD has huge problems with, well, problems with AMD CPUs sell like hotcake, and with booked manufacturing processes there at TSMC, and so capacity, so they have the luxury problem of not getting enough chips manufactured, with also Apple and all the other mobile manufacturers and Nvidia are all booking their manufacturing capacities as TSMC. So I heard that all the big vendors have serious problems of getting enough AMD freaking mobile chips. Like, yeah, that's also an unfortunate problem to have. So the shipping estimates here of all the AMD based models from all the vendors, not only in Lenovo, but all of them are like, yeah, shipping in 3 weeks or 3 months. That is certainly, do they have here ships in more than 5 weeks? Is like, yeah, just that you're aware. But I wanted to say something of this sort here is certainly more something what I would personally choose. Actually, let's get back here of, yeah, also soldered, right? But yeah, this is of also, so Lenovo, if you're listening, certainly the more we grow, the more they're listening. 2 things to ask for: not, well, 16 by 10 without this stupid plastic chin there, and don't solder this stuff and give us Ethernet. Does it have Ethernet and display? Hey, this has out extension. 7 is, yeah, this is this stupid proprietary previous videos, but yeah, because the problem with this is, yeah, it has it, but then you are somewhere on the go at some customer, or you, when we can fly eventually, maybe next spring or something, you fly somewhere and have everything but this Ethernet jack. In similar news, if you are looking for screen real estate and want a cheap option, and I know, Microsoft, but not that you tell me later I didn't point it to it. So there are now affordable Surface Laptop Go things, just new the other day, or release date October 13th here. Somewhat affordable if you would see the price here, $549 or $550. And so I didn't, well, it's not released yet. Also Microsoft, if you're watching and want to support new influencers here on, I heard you use more Linux, so Windows with Linux kernel coming sometime soon, also I heard. So yeah, if you want to have this stuff reviewed here and stuff, looking forward to send one over. I would think you can, like other Surface stuff, boot Linux, hopefully. The benefit of this is 3x10 screen, which screen real estate for all of us who want to get stuff done. Certainly a nice entry-level one, although the more option you choose and stuff, the more expensive it gets. And last but not least, it has some yesteryear's Intel SKU, so that is Intel of, yeah, I think this is like 10th gen, but like asterisk of only with some more expensive SKU, I think. So I think the entry-level model has like yesterday's old Intel silicon. And yeah, the downsides is you give Microsoft money, and it also pre-orders like, so, but hey, this is which is ice blue. Do they have, what is platinum? Do they have this also in black? But yeah, personally, I know colors, like, yeah, I also get it in pink, whatever, as long as the specs are right. But yeah, it's also, okay, entry level 4 gigs, like, yeah, probably not recommended. So you probably want to go, also wonder, yeah, color wise, yeah, you had me at pink, but you probably want at least, also does it cost more? Does it, So yeah, you probably want in 2020 at least 8 gigs. And I think I saw somewhere a 16 gig version. Yeah, also again, this i5 read super misleading. I think some of the stuff is yesteryear's SKUs, and I think I read somewhere you get this with 16 gig with some pro version in some pro business store. It's like, yeah, 2020 convoluted purchase option stuff. Anyway, you have been warned, the option is there, you give Microsoft money, you potentially sell your soul, and it's like, yeah, memory and soldered and repairability and stuff. In similar news, there also is some Microsoft Pro X update, not the super greatest fan. We had this video earlier this year or last year. Anyway, sometime in the past, whenever that was, before the pandemic probably, maybe last year, I don't know. This is Microsoft SQ1 silicon, of course, Qualcomm Snapdragon. And so they have an update of that. So there is X24 LTE something. So SQ1, so they have an upgrade. And what really pisses me off, we had this already last year of, yeah, Microsoft innovation, of course. Yeah. Of course not, they just like configured a tiny little bit whatsoever. It's not like Microsoft gets an entirely different silicon SKU. That would be way too expensive. And Microsoft developed together with Qualcomm's like, yeah, whatever. Done next to nothing, but they need to shout out they are the latest and greatest. Obviously not tech company. So who knows what I want to say, it pisses me somewhat off that you don't get a proper spec for that. So it's like Qualcomm 8CX Gen 2 SoC, whatever. It's like details, YOLO, don't ask us. Maybe we disclose, maybe not. Like I had some mobile silicons like, yeah, voodoo, magic, amazing, the best. Probably not. So this is somewhat disappointing. Also, AnandTech here. It's like, yeah, they reached out at this point. Best guess is like, yeah, 2020 press releases with our best guess. It's some ARM silicon, something, YOLO, whatever. Probably they claim performance, but probably not as much. Previous video, state of ARM stuff. Anyway, I think it was somewhat a pain to boot Linux on the other one. So they were, to my surprise, the bootloader was not fully locked and you could start booting Linux, but given the proprietary state, I didn't really follow up. I think, well, obviously graphic and whatnot, but other stuff on the SoC also didn't, like maybe even USB. I think maybe even USB didn't just work because the designware licensed softcore USB stuff or something, or licensed IP hardware description stuff was somewhat different. It didn't just like work. I'll leave in the comments below if you tried. I know one in the audience tried. Maybe you can boot it a little bit more, maybe not, but also recurring shout out, probably, unless you have plenty of time to burn, probably not the best option to get some proprietary ARM silicon, especially from Microsoft, enriching them for Windows and stuff and Linux food. But yeah, unless you have tons of months of time to burn and reverse engineer, you want to reverse engineer this for your Tetris time and Sudoku replacement pleasure, probably not the best to get. And on ARM Windows with x86 state and emulation, right? The only thing that is new, previous video or previous product announcement, they only emulated x32, aka 32-bit x86 software. Now, what is new this year is they finally got the act together, and which surprises me because previous video RM64, A64 ISA, twice the registers, much more unified and sorted, well, not as convoluted and not full with conditional codes instruction set. So actually this was ARM64, sorry, so that and in reverse. x86 shouldn't be that much more difficult to emulate, especially on ARM64 with more registers. And yeah, ARM64 has 32 registers, previous video. I said in this video, as long as you have more registers in your host than in your emulation target, it should always be not too difficult, because register allocation wise you can just map those registers one-to-one to some numeric space in your register file. Anyway, not really sure what took Microsoft so long, but there you have it. But yeah, for Linux, well, if it also, yeah, Microsoft, it's on you, right? You do so much Linux stuff because Linux, so yeah, maybe release some Linux patches for this, because certainly I don't know too many people who would want to run this with Microsoft. In similar news, last but not least, there is some Hewlett-Packard Spectre 14, I guess, inch laptops, 3:2 aspect ratio and Thunderbolt 4 hiding in the corner. Just for those, I have this in here. Personally, Hewlett-Packard products were always relatively cheap, falling apart, not very good quality, and not even, in my opinion. The look is like, yeah, I never quite liked the look, but aside falling apart and stuff, and breaking and stuff, and key layout there's, nah. But last but not least, what's the heck, corner stuff. Yeah, so design, not a fan, a little bit too strange, bling bling for me. But if you don't mind this, if you like Hewlett-Packard, if you maybe even like the design, because design, you have this option here. Personally, yeah, it's not my taste, that's not my quality, but yeah, 3:2 screen, Microsoft and Lenovo in 19210, not the only ones. There you have it. It's like, yeah, options, the more option, some design taste for everyone. I should say, so this Nano, there are cheaper options, right? So this GPD Pocket 2, I had this briefly mentioned in another video. I know one viewer in the audience here likes this GPD Pocket quite a bit. And also this Shuvi mini book. Of course, you have service, spare parts. Now, it is more compact, so different categories. It's even more compact. However, the typing experience is of course not the same. I have the Sony Vario P, previous video, a decade old. Yeah, Atom Z series performance. Yeah, certainly nothing to compare here. But one thing, of course, this stuff is more compact. So yeah, pros and cons, right? Way more compact. It fits in some people's pocket, allegedly, maybe, depending on your genes, or so they say, but somewhat compromised typing experience. So certainly nothing to be compared. I have the feeling this will be super, well, not the feeling, from the picture, this will be very low key travel, but nonetheless probably a magnitude better. I had this myself, Sony Vario P, and this kind of compromised typing, but yeah, it fits in some, allegedly, depending on your gene, pocket design stuff. But do you need this? Do you need it? Well, also sitting down and moving a little bit, and then you squeeze your precious laptop. But really compromised typing and viewing experience. Not everyone like me can work with text mode console stuff and emails in Emacs or so. Less compromised stuff, but yeah, certainly double and triple the price, but a real display, a real keyboard. But yeah, just that you know your options. And otherwise, yeah, if you don't mind ugly design, maybe you can take a water permanent marker thing here and paint this bling bling edges with black or something, or otherwise, yeah, cheap entry level if you run yesteryear's Linux and don't need more than 4 gig of memory, or options is more. And if otherwise, if you want the latest and greatest high performance ARM and don't mind potentially some serious hacking on this driver side for Linux and BSDs and bootloader, yeah, locked or unlocked, maybe, maybe not. The last one I think was running EFI, so I would hope it remains the same with the SQ2, but you can never know until you order it online, hopefully with returnable policies. That's it for this quick summary. And for other regular, mostly recommended, well, except Dell XPS and so on, here are your options. And I only wish Lenovo would have 16:10 screens on all of them. I hope that's coming sometime soon. I hope you learned something, and now your options for this fall. Edwin writes also, does these laptops, so questions audience, Android, something. So well, if you have some Android x86 builds, then probably should be able to run Android on them, especially on, well, x86 Android, right? Maybe eventually if you hack drivers on the Microsoft Surface, maybe potentially sometime soon in the future. Let's see another comment. Edwin here with 13 something. So 1399 does this. What is the display spec on this one? I would hope it has higher. Where's the display? 2K. Actually, right. So this is a 13 by 2, a 2K display. So I think they mean 2000 something by whatever it is. Also, yeah, press release without 2K vision display. So I think this display was pretty decent. I think this should be 2000 something by whatever this is in 13 whatever something. Which display do you mean for that actually? No, or maybe this one here. What is the display of this one? But yeah, usually these are those Lenovo displays, or maybe you mean this display here, of X by something. Learn more of this. As always, leave in the comments what you think, and always if you write a comment, then right, so you mean this one. So yeah, this should be somewhat forbidden. Also 250 nits. Let's customize this live here and see what display we right now get. But yeah, 5 weeks. But again, this might not be entirely Lenovo's fault. This also here, some nice epic thread ripping, 8 core, 16 threads. And but yeah, it's not only in your car configurator, but also here. Also, can we nowadays, we supposedly should be able to get Linux with some, but not with all. Let's see, memory, yeah, so some, yeah, but price-wise, if you are a pro developer, this quickly it's up. And display choices, totally agree. With this kind of meh display, the price should certainly be less, but on the plus side, yeah. Anti-glare touchscreen, privacy, anti-glare privacy guard probably should be switchable, ACPI controlled, anti-privacy guard of limiting the viewing angle for people in an airplane, train, otherwise conference, sitting next to each other, not to see this stuff. Although the display option, I have to say, yeah, I somewhat wish they would have. Although 13-inch, fair enough. Otherwise, I don't need 4K, but 150% scaling, not too bad. But yeah, this quickly adds up. Yeah, we are 2000. Maybe we don't necessarily, well, so yeah, this stuff is tiny little bit pricey. I have to say, maybe you don't need this whopping, yeah, but soldered. This is similar to Apple. I totally don't support this. Vendors, please stop doing this. And although, yeah, to be fair, this is the X thin and light stuff. But yeah, 2000, how to double your laptop pricing in no time, only live on this channel. What are the options for where even the anyway, this is the thin and light stuff, so no surprise here. Let's go to the also, you can also find affordable last year's spec. Let's one last quick look what they have in stock for also, yeah, 500 Mbit, an idle 1350X workstation here, loading websites here live on this. Thin and light, do they offer? Here's traditional. It's 2020, thin and light and traditional. Let's see, so the new stuff might be T14, I guess. Build your own, yeah, starting at, it doesn't really make it cheaper, so if you need it cheaper, then you probably want to take last year's model. Do we at least get no AMD options here or what? So yeah, whatever is with the AMD option here. And otherwise, yeah, stuff adds up a little bit. What is it? Lower display only available with IR camera. So yeah, even here, it's price-wise, the companies really copy Apple, and it's like, yeah, take a food and liver and stuff, but yeah, 75. I mean, you would think that for this price you at least get this display. And what is this memory-wise? Probably, I think last year's model was half soldered, and where's the hello memory? Yes, memory. Onboard soldered, and what they only have soldered for the stuff now? Yeah. Anyway, even for this, shout out again, for this pricing, not only would I expect at least a full HD display and 16 by 10, so much too innovative, my ass. But yeah, anyway, there you have it. I hope you learned something, especially as the stuff becomes increasingly pricey. Maybe last year's model is the way to go, and really said that as nice it is to see 3 by 2 at Hewlett Packard and 16 by 10 for this X1 Nano. Otherwise, for classic, no thanks. I would really wish they would have similar screen real estate for more classic SKUs. That's it for this false laptop orientation here. I will provide an update when Lenovo might send one of those to test our ways. Although honestly, there certainly isn't that much change, so the last years of our reviews probably apply. Yeah, price-wise, I agree with the comments. Could start a little bit lower, could start with a little bit better display, and I also wish it wouldn't be soldered. We could actually take a quick look here, but maybe they have different SKUs. But yeah, also you see this fake, so yeah, modern web stuff, and this fake text has here some grayed out stuff, and then it takes even on a 1350X workstation quite some time to load. I'm slightly surprised they don't have AMD here. This is also all soldered. This is really somewhat disappointing. How previous years laptops are always still quite an option, because I think at least it was only partially soldered. I also wonder, oh wait a second, we didn't want desktop. Maybe I should also not come so much to loading US stuff in Germany. Where is also our, come on. If you have other, yeah, here have T15 Intel, they probably have dedicated. This is really annoying. They really don't want to motivate people to switch to the AMD SKU. Yes, except this garbage. T14 load more is like, yeah, clicking extra. So yeah, X1 Carbon also, this is sold out. So probably there will be AMD SKUs for this, as they have it listed there, but the usual stuff of selling Intel first, maybe. Yeah, on the other hand, can't blame Lenovo if AMD can't deliver more quantities there of chips. I would think that should be, well, let's know what what is it, T14, right? T14 AMD, Lenovo. Let's see if some web search, yeah, here's some, wherever that's hiding. Also, this is German for all the web search of all things. Maybe this one, what, they have this in home, T14 is home. Yeah, anyway, thanks to Google, we found here some AMD SKU. This is somehow not immediately visible, but yeah, maybe they have one as business and one as home. Can't mix this stuff up. Also, yeah, still this pseudo text stuff loading here. So this might be slightly less. What do we get memory wise? Memory soldered. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, 1000. I think it's slightly less expensive, certainly not the cheapest, but they have it also here, ships in 5 weeks of TSMC, AMD, GILD and whatnot. Oh, wait a second, select, wait, here are 2. Ah, here's sold out. Oh, wait a second, here they have 2 for some. Did we overlook this in the other? But okay, so then it's like last year. We can, maybe I overlooked this with all this. I wish they wouldn't make it like this and would not solder half of them, but fair enough. The only thing is, as usual, you need to be careful what you configure there, and even I overlooked this here live on this channel. Can never have onboard. Ah, yes, indeed 2, so this is slightly, you need to know that it's there. But so, okay, you can, to be fair, you can, even on the Intel one, select 16 soldered and leave 16 to purchase later. So that's not too bad, certainly better than at Apple, but could be even better, especially with this entry level display choice, but also probably, as they write here, IPS here, that's probably TN for your gaming aficionados, but I certainly want IPS anyway. At this price level, again, I said this before, at this price, or people also commented this, at this price level you probably want an IPS Full HD display, but so much too. I wish it would start $75 with this SQ. But anyway, these are the options. All the other stuff, for the most part, Razer. You have seen Louis Rossmann, other channels, failing power delivery lanes of MOSFETs or whatever was overheating them, burning through. So yeah, can't recommend Razer. Overpriced as Apple, failing as Apple. Leave me in the comments below what you think, also NVIDIA graphics and whatnot. And then I rather take some ThinkPad T14 AMD SQ. Let's jump back to that of AMD. Power do they have in laptops? Wherever that came from. And then does it have Ethernet? Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. Also AMD laptop and then Intel wireless, because Intel wireless, at least we have a halfway decent Linux driver. Hello, Ethernet, what's up with this stuff? Power cord. Of all of those things, they could actually, previous video, keep their bulky charger, and I have my own USB-C charger of, maybe courage, don't put the charger into the box. What is here somehow Ethernet wise? What is here with something, so much too on a first glance. I would think it should have Ethernet, at least it had last year, but man, this is slow loading. HDMI Ethernet cable, I can't mix this stuff up. USB adapter, what the heck, sure hope it would have Ethernet, but so much to finding the fine print and details. Do they have some? Man, but to be honest, it's somewhat of an annoying website. Can't recommend it the most. T14 AMD Lenovo. You already need Google to efficiently navigate this, although they have here business, so it's not home. So does it have? It looks like it might have an. What? Starting at which website are we? India. Man, can't mix this stuff up. So website-wise, not the most amazing design, and Anyway, we only want Ethernet. So does it? Yeah, Ethernet RJ45 here on the, not on the US configuration side, but USB-C something, Gen 1 and Gen 2, mix of all the stuff, micro SD, and so yeah, something of this is what I would go for. I don't need it more compact. I rather have some port. Ethernet, always nice to have for me. And older man getting here yelling at the cloud for his Ethernet jack. So people say in the comments, modern ThinkPads are garbage. It's like, still better than most of the rest of them, but last but not least, give us freaking here screen real estate, 16 by 10. The X1 Nano proves you can do it. I expect no less than that for next year. And HP, Dell already have their 11th gen out already. Better wait than, so yeah, 10th gen, but again 11th gen, similar to AMD silicon, yield highly, or yield in quantities highly limited, so I expect all of this 11th gen Intel and 4th, so 4000 series Zen, what is it even, Zen 3, so man, this is Zen 2, I lose overview. Zen, we had Zen 1 plus 2, it should be Zen 3, right? Man, strange modeling name. So 5000 is Zen 3, 4000 is Zen 2, we had 1 plus what? What is model naming? Is getting confused already with all the Zen 3 and stuff. And so yeah, a new AMD silicon also coming, but there's always some new stuff coming, depending on, it's always like, well, this is the latest stuff you can get right now, and otherwise there's always some new stuff on the horizon. Always depends on, you can wait, you can't wait, you want to save, and takes yesteryear's SKU. That's it here for this X1 Nano orientation. It's also, yeah, it's really set that if you want 16 by 10, then you need to get this particular Nano SKU, otherwise only Microsoft and Hewlett-Packard or other Huawei or something, MateBook, and otherwise, like, yeah, really set that the SKUs are convoluted like this. I really wish the vendors would get their SKU configuration act there together. I hope you enjoyed this overview and learned something. We had 0 drop frames. I hope that came through and didn't get lost somewhere at Google. I hope you learned something, and to see you soon for the next videos and live streams to come.